I shared a house with 2 other people when I was 28. Their names were Daniel and Marcus. We weren't close in the emotional, tell each other our trauma kind of way. We were close in the way roommates become close after sharing bills, bad plumbing, empty fridge arguments, and late-night conversations neither person remembers clearly the next morning. Daniel was a bartender. He came home after midnight most nights, smelling like beer, cigarettes, and whatever cheap cologne he kept in his car. He was loud, funny, and impossible to offend. Marcus worked it from home. He was quieter, more careful, the kind of guy who checked if the stove was off twice before leaving the kitchen. He also had this habit of noticing things before anyone else did. I worked at a call center, which meant I was usually home by 7, tired, irritated, and too mentally drained to care about anything beyond food, a shower, and sleep. The house was a 2-story rental at the end of a dead street. Not abandoned, not ancient, not some gothic mansion in the woods. That's what made it worse later. It looked normal. White walls, cheap laminate floors, a tiny backyard with a broken fence, motion lights near the driveway that clicked on whenever a cat passed by. The kind of house you forget 2 seconds after driving past it. Normal, boring, safe, at least. That's what I thought. The strange stuff started after Daniel brought home the mirror. He found it behind the bar where he worked. According to him, the owners were renovating the storage room and throwing out old furniture. The mirror had been leaning near the dumpsters, wrapped halfway in a stained moving blanket. It was tall, almost 7 feet, heavy enough that Daniel had to call Marcus downstairs to help him carry it in. The frame was dark wood, almost black, carved with little twisting patterns that looked decorative at first. But when I got close, I realized they weren't flowers or vines. They looked like hands. Tiny hands, twisted together, reaching around the edges of the frame. I asked Daniel why he wanted it. He grinned and said, "It makes my room look expensive."
Look at that.
Marcus stared at it for a long time. Then he said, "That thing looks like it was removed from a crime scene." Daniel laughed. I didn't. Not because I believed in cursed objects or haunted mirrors. I didn't. But there was something about that glass that felt wrong before anything even happened. It didn't reflect the room clearly. Not exactly. The reflection looked a little darker than the actual house, like the mirror was showing our hallway after all the lights had been dimmed, even though they hadn't. Daniel carried it upstairs and leaned it against the wall in his bedroom. That night, I woke up at 2:13 a.m. to whispering. At first, I thought Daniel had brought someone home. That wouldn't have been unusual. He worked at a bar. He knew half the town. Sometimes I'd wake up to drunk laughter, footsteps, or the low murmur of someone trying not to be loud and failing. But this whispering was different. It wasn't 2 people talking. It was one voice. Daniel's voice. Whispering fast. Too fast to understand. I opened my bedroom door. The upstairs hallway was dark, except for the thin yellow line of light under Daniel's door. The whispering stopped the second I stepped into the hall. I stood there barefoot listening. Then Daniel laughed. Once quietly, a dry little laugh that didn't sound like him. I almost knocked on his door, but something stopped me. Instead, I went back into my room and shut the door. The next morning, Daniel looked sick. Not hungover sick. Not tired sick. Wrong sick. His skin had a grayish color. His eyes were bloodshot. His lips looked dry and cracked. He sat at the kitchen table with both hands around his coffee mug like he was freezing, even though the house was warm. I asked if he was okay. He didn't answer at first. Then he said, "Did either of you come into my room last night?" Marcus looked up from his laptop. I said no. Daniel stared into his coffee. I woke up because someone was whispering next to my bed. Marcus asked what they said. Daniel swallowed. It was my voice. The kitchen went quiet. Then, Daniel forced a laugh and shook his head. I mean, obviously I was dreaming. Marcus didn't smile. He said, "Throw the mirror out." Daniel immediately got defensive. No. The way he said it made both of us look at him. It wasn't loud. It was just too sharp. Too serious. Like Marcus had asked him to cut off his own hand. Daniel noticed us staring and softened his voice. "I just got it upstairs. I'm not throwing it out because I had a weird dream." But after that, Daniel changed. Not all at once. At first, it was small enough to ignore. He stopped eating dinner with us. Then, he started leaving lights off in rooms where he was sitting. Then, he began sleeping during the day and staying awake all night, even on nights he didn't work. I would wake up at 3 or 4 a.m. and hear him moving around upstairs. Not walking. Dragging, like furniture was being pulled across the floor 1 inch at a time. One night, I went downstairs for water and found him standing in the kitchen in complete darkness. He was facing the wall, perfectly still.
John.
No phone, no glass, no reason to be there. I flipped the light on and said, "Daniel?" He didn't move. I laughed nervously because that's what you do when something scares you but you don't want to admit it. "Bro, what are you doing?" Slowly he turned his head, only his head. His body stayed facing the wall. And he smiled. It wasn't Daniel's smile. Daniel had a big, stupid, friendly grin. This was small, tight, forced, like something inside his face had watched humans smile and was trying to copy it. He said, "Listening," I asked. "To what?" His eyes moved upward, not his head, just his eyes. "To the house practicing." I backed away. "What does that mean?" Daniel's smile widened a little. Then he whispered, "It wants to sound lived in." I went upstairs and locked my door. The next morning, Daniel didn't remember any of it. Or he said he didn't. Marcus and I started talking privately after that.
Feels like it's watching.
He admitted he had been hearing things too. Whispering from Daniel's room when Daniel wasn't home. Scratching behind the hallway walls. A woman crying softly from the bathroom, only to stop when he opened the door. Then Marcus told me something that made my stomach turn. He said, "Yesterday, I heard you call my name from Daniel's room." I told him I hadn't. He said, "I know. You were at work." That afternoon, Marcus checked the hallway camera he had installed facing the stairs. He had put it there months earlier because packages kept going missing from the porch. At 1:17 p.m., while Daniel was at work and I was also out, the camera recorded Daniel's bedroom door opening. No one came out. The hallway stayed empty. Then the mirror slid out of his room.
Come join us.
Not carried. Not dragged. It moved upright, slowly, silently, into the hallway. The frame scraped lightly against the wall, but there was no one touching it. It stopped outside Marcus's bedroom, then turned, not falling, not tipping, turning until the glass faced Marcus's door. The camera glitched for 3 seconds. When the image came back, there was a hand pressed against the inside of the mirror, not reflected in it. Inside it, palm flat against the glass, long fingers, black nails. Then the footage cut out. Marcus watched it once. Then he whispered, "I'm leaving." I told him we couldn't just abandon Daniel. Marcus looked at me with this dead, serious expression and said, "That is not Daniel anymore." That night, Daniel didn't come home at his usual time. Midnight passed. Then 1, then 2. At 3:33 a.m., the doorbell rang. Once, then again. I woke up instantly. My phone buzzed. A text from Marcus. "Do not open it." I got out of bed anyway and went to the upstairs window. Daniel was standing on the porch. His head was down. His clothes were soaked, even though it wasn't raining. His arms hung at his sides like they were too heavy for him. I called his phone. From the porch, I watched him slowly lift one hand and take his phone out of his pocket. He answered. I said, "Why are you ringing the doorbell? Use your key." For a few seconds, there was only breathing. Then I heard my own voice come through the phone. My exact voice. Same tone. Same tiredness.
Why are you
Same little shake in it.
of using your key?
It whispered, "Let him in." I hung up so fast I almost dropped the phone. The doorbell rang again.
Right in.
Daniel lifted his head toward the window, and I saw his face.
We're coming in
I still have nightmares about it.
Know where you are.
It wasn't bloody. It wasn't torn open. It wasn't anything that would make sense in a movie. It was worse because it was almost normal. Almost Daniel. But the expression didn't fit him. His eyes were too calm. His mouth hung slightly open. His skin looked loose, like his face had been put on in a hurry. Then, he smiled. And his smile was upside down in the reflection of the porch window. I know that sounds impossible, but I saw it. The real Daniel on the porch was smiling normally. The reflection behind him was smiling the wrong way. Marcus came into my room holding a kitchen knife. His face was pale. He whispered, "His car isn't outside." Daniel never walked home from work. His bar was 20 minutes away by car and nearly 2 hours away on foot. The doorbell stopped. For a few seconds, the whole house went silent. Then, the front door unlocked downstairs. Click. The door opened. Marcus and I both heard it. We stood frozen in my room. Then Daniel's voice called from the entryway.
Guys?
"Guys?" Normal voice. Perfectly normal. Marcus whispered, "Don't answer." Footsteps moved through the living room.
Don't answer it.
Slow, wet, then Daniel called again. I lost my keys. My stomach dropped. Because we had heard the door unlock. The footsteps reached the bottom of the stairs and stopped. Then Daniel started laughing. Quiet at first. Then louder.
I seem to have
Then,
lost my key.
too loud. The laugh stretched and cracked until it sounded like several people were laughing through one throat. A man. A woman. Daniel, me, Marcus, all layered together. Marcus shouted, "Get out." The laughing stopped. Daniel said, in a woman's voice, he brought me home. The lights went out. Every single one. The hallway, the bathroom, the porch light. Even the tiny charging light on my laptop blinked off. The house became completely black. Then something started climbing the stairs. Not walking, climbing. Hands and feet slapping against the steps. Fast, too fast. Marcus grabbed my arm and pulled me into his room. He slammed the door and shoved his desk in front of it. The thing reached the hallway. Silence, then a soft knock. Daniel's voice whispered, "Open up." I'm scared. Marcus started crying. I had never seen him cry before. Then my phone lit up. A text from Daniel. But Daniel was outside the door. The message said, "Do not listen to my voice." Then another message came. "I am still at the bar." Then another. "Something came home wearing me." Then another. "It has my face." Then another. "Do not look in the mirror." The doorknob started turning. I called the police. I could barely speak. I told them someone was in the house. I told them my roommate was outside the door. I told them my roommate was also texting me from work. The operator kept asking me to stay calm. Then the thing outside the door started copying her.
Someone is inside.
Same voice, same tone.
But he's also
"Sir,
messaging me
I need you to stay calm."
I don't know who is
The desk moved, just an inch.
Remain calm.
Then another.
Please.
Marcus
remain
dropped the
calm.
knife. His crying stopped. That scared me more than the crying. He stood completely still, staring at the door. Then the thing whispered in Marcus's voice, "Move the desk." Marcus took one step forward. I grabbed his arm. He turned toward me. His eyes were open, but there was nothing behind them. No fear. No recognition. No Marcus. He said, "It needs to come in." His voice sounded like it was coming from the hallway and his mouth at the same time. I slapped him. Hard. He blinked. For 1 second, he was back. Then from downstairs, a real voice shouted, "Hello? Daniel. The real Daniel." The thing outside Marcus's door went silent. Marcus collapsed to the floor. The bedroom door burst open so hard the hinges cracked. There was no one there.
Hello?
The hallway was empty, but the mirror stood at the end of it, facing us. I don't know how it got there. In the glass, I saw Daniel standing behind me. Not the real Daniel downstairs. The other one. Its face was pressed too close to my reflection. Its cheek was almost touching mine. It leaned toward my reflected ear and whispered something. I didn't hear it in the room. I heard it inside my head. "Thank you for teaching me your voice." Then the mirror cracked from top to bottom. Not outward, inward, like something behind the glass had punched through from the other side. The police arrived minutes later. They found all three of us outside on the lawn. Daniel was hysterical. He had security footage from the bar, proving he had been there the entire night. He had never left. His car was still parked behind the building. But the wet footprints were real. They started at our front door, went through the living room, up the stairs, stopped outside Marcus's bedroom, and never went back down. The mirror was gone. Not broken. Gone. There was only a dark rectangular stain on the hallway floor where it had stood. Marcus moved out the next morning. Daniel quit his job and went to stay with his sister. I stayed 1 more week because I couldn't afford to leave immediately. That week was the worst of my life. The house sounded occupied even when I was alone. Someone coughed in empty rooms. Someone walked behind me and stopped when I turned around. At night, I heard Daniel crying from inside the walls. Then, Marcus praying. Then my own voice whispering jokes I had never told anyone. On my last night, I was packing the final box in my bedroom when I heard Daniel's voice from the hallway.
Never know.
But Daniel was 3 cities away. He whispered, "You forgot the mirror." I turned slowly. My closet door was open. Inside, in the dark, something tall stood under a white sheet.
Why are you trying to
I
run
couldn't
away?
breathe. Then, Marcus's voice came from under the sheet. "Don't look at it." Then my own voice whispered from behind the fabric.
You forgot
Too
the
close.
mirror.
Too calm. Too perfect. We learned you too. The sheet slid to the floor by itself. The mirror was there. But it wasn't reflecting my room, it was reflecting a darker version of it. A room where I was standing in the closet, smiling, watching myself. My reflection raised 1 finger to its lips. Then something behind it placed both hands on its shoulders.
Under the sheet.
Long fingers, black nails. And Daniel's voice whispered from the glass, "Now invite us somewhere new."
You don't need it anymore.
I ran. I left my clothes, my furniture, my documents, everything. I never went back. 2 days later, the landlord called and asked why I had abandoned the house. I told him I was done with the lease and that he could keep whatever was left. He went quiet. Then he said, "Did you have guests over last night?" I said no. He said the neighbors had complained. Apparently, all night, they heard people talking inside my empty room. 3 voices. Daniel's, Marcus's, and mine. Then the landlord said something that made me hang up and block his number.
Come on.
He said,
Invite us.
one of them was asking where you live now.
See you next time. Subscribe and like for more. Goodbye!